Hello, hello. We're not going to be on here long. You know how it is for me. It's easier for me to go live than to try to do a whole video. Give me a moment. All right. Let's see if we can turn this down a little bit. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV. We are here. I'm a little late because, again, I was on vacation, and this is the first time I'm coming back to y'all. Uh, we see that there has been a verdict in the Meg the Stallion versus Milagro Cooper. There's a lot to go over. And what I'll do instead of pulling up articles, I am just going to go down Megan Cuniff, her Twitter, aka X account, and we're going to get all the information that we need there. She was on the scene along with her and I believe Armand Wiggins. So we are definitely just going to pull this information up and go down this timeline. So let me go back. So she's got the verdict forms and everything. So I just want to kind of go back. So if you weren't familiar, Megan the Stallion was suing Milagro Cooper for defamation and promoting a deep fake corn video. Oh. And so she took her to trial. Uh excuse me, just trying to get everything worked up and worked out. You stay gone for about 2 or 3 days and you get rusty. I see why people are very, very consistent. So they went to trial. They had a pretty good contentious trial. I think the trial lasted about 7 days. We got a verdict. So let's get to what what Megan Cuniff said on December 1st. Okay.
Megan intentionally inflicted emotional distress on her and then promoted a sexually explicit fake video of her. So that's the real issue here. And the fake video claim brings attorney's fees. So the $75,000 in damages is one figure, but we could end up with another figure here later on that requires Milagro to pay Megan's Quinn Emanuel fees, which just looking at their catering, that's going to be through the roof. But it could be a lot. But there are issues that remain to be seen here. But Megan left the courthouse, said, "I'm just happy." And Milagro left the courthouse, said that she's not ecstatic, but she respects the jury verdict. So I'm working on getting this all together for you guys. I've got a
All right. So let me get to. So this is page 3 of the verdict form. So let's see if we can get to page 1 and 2. All right, here we go. So this is the verdict form. This is the verdict. And they had to answer a series of questions. So, in answering the following questions and filling out this verdict form, you are following my final instructions and any instructions provided in this verdict form. Your answer to each of the questions, each of the following must be unanimous. It says, so we, the jury, unanimously answer the questions submitted to us as follows. Question 1. Do you find by a preponderance of evidence that Miss Cooper is liable to Miss Pete for defamation per se by accusing Miss Pete of perjury, a felony, by lying under oath in a criminal trial in which she asserted that Miss Pete was a non-credible witness? I could not go down the list of all the different SHIT that was not true. And was Megan the Stallion caught trying to deceive the court again? And they said yes. Question 2, do you find by a preponderance of evidence that Miss Cooper's defamatory statements caused Mrs. Pete's actual damages? And they said yes. During the time and period in which the statements are made, do you find by a preponderance of the evidence that Miss Cooper provided a disinterested and neutral commentary rather than advocacy for a particular client or personal interest, they say no. During the time period in which the statements were made, do you find by a preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Cooper regularly disseminated news or information to the public rather than making an isolated one-time publication? And they say yes. Now this is the number 4 is what's going to be more interesting. Question number 5. During the time period in which the statements were made, do you find by a preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Cooper impartially disseminated information rather than acting primarily to promote her own business products and services? They said no. Question number 6. During the time period in which the statements were made, do you find by a preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Cooper operated for the purpose of informing the public about matters of public concern through news reporting, analysis, and commentary? They said yes. Question number 7. During the time period in which the statements were made, do you find by a preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Cooper functioned in a similar manner in traditional news media, such as newspaper, magazines, television, radio, and other online equivalents? They said yes. Question number 8. Considering your answers to question 3 and 7 together, do you find by a preponderance of evidence Ms. Cooper should be treated as media? And they said yes. And they have count 2. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Do you find by a preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Cooper intentionally or recklessly engaged in an extreme and outrageous conduct towards Ms. Pete? They said yes. Question number 10. Do you find by a preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Pete suffered severe emotional distress as a result of Ms. Cooper's extreme, outrageous conduct? They said yes. Count 3, promotion of an altered sexual depiction. Question 11. Do you find by a preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Cooper willfully and maliciously promoted, without Ms. Pete's consent, a visual depiction of Miss Pete that she knew or reasonably should have known was an altered sexual depiction? They said yes. The damages, do you find by a preponderance of the evidence that Miss Pete should be awarded compensatory damages for defamation per se? They say yes. And they said, in what amount? They said 15,000. Question 13, do you find a preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Pete should be awarded compensatory damages? And they said yes. And $8,000, is that what they awarded? Do you find by preponderance that Ms. Pete should be awarded compensatory damages? And they said yes. 50,000. So let's go back. So that's 50. Okay. That's 65. If found Miss Pete, if you found for Miss Pete on the defamation claim, do you find by clear and convincing evidence that punitive damages are warranted against Miss Cooper on Miss Pete's defamation claim? And they say yes. I can't tell if that's 4,000 or 9,000. Question 16, if you find Miss Pete on the intentional infliction of emotional distress claims in question 9 and 10, do you find by clear and convincing evidence that the punitive damages are warranted against Miss Cooper? And they said yes. So there were damages. However, let's go up. So once they decided that Milagro was a part of media, there was a little hiccup in Megan's case. And that hiccup was because Milagro is considered to be media, Megan was supposed to have sent offered her a way to remedy the situation. She was supposed to send her a cease and desist. She was supposed to, contact her and tell her to put the stuff down because that wasn't correct, or to correct the information. She was supposed to, as media, because they have a little extra protection, Megan was supposed to have given Milagro an opportunity to remedy her situation before she filed suit against her. So, with that being said, the judge did come back and the judge did rule that she threw out the defamation case And she threw out the $75,000 in damages for those three claims because Milagro, the jury said that Milagro was media, and as she was media, Megan was supposed to offer her an opportunity to remedy the situation. All right, so let's look at what the judge has ordered, her final judgment. This case came before the court for a jury trial. The issues having been duly tried, the jury rendered its verdict, finding defendant Milagro Elizabeth Cooper liable to plaintiff Megan Pete for defamation per se, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and promotion of an altered sexual depiction in violation of Section 836.13 Florida statute. The jury also rendered its verdict to the defendant's media defendant status, finding that defendant should be treated as a media defendant regarding the statements at issue. As a condition precedent to a defamation suit, Section 770.01 Florida statute requires a plaintiff to serve a media defendant with written notice specifying the alleged false or defamatory statements at least 5 days before filing a complaint. Megan didn't do that. Her team did not do that. She should be docking some points on that. The jury's conclusion that defendant is a media defendant therefore precludes judgment for plaintiff on the defamation per se claim because it is uncontested the plaintiff did not provide the defendant pre-suit notice. And then she goes and lists the different cases that backs her up. In sum, the jury's verdict supports entry of judgment for plaintiff on her claims of intentional infliction of emotional distress and promotion of altered sexual depiction. Plaintiff is entitled to the $59,000 in damages, the amount of compensatory punitive damages awarded to jury on those two claims. So, ordered and judged as follow. Judgment is entered in favor of the plaintiff, Megan Keith, on counts 2 and 3 of her Second Amendment complaint against defendant Milagro Cooper. Plaintiff shall receive from defendant a total of $59,000 in damages. Requests for cost and fees shall not be submitted until after any post-trial motions are decided or an appeal is concluded, whichever occurs later. The court retains jurisdiction to enter the request for injunctive relief found in court for the Second Amendment complaint. The clerk should close this case. So those are the two things we're going to stop sharing. So, hey. So, I think it was a win for Meg. I think it was a win for Meg. And now people are like, well, Milagro don't have to think she didn't defame her. She didn't do anything. But what this sets up is you all have to look at things setting up precedents. Because people can't just get on here and start telling people you can't start doing certain things against people and think that you're covered. Oh, well, I'm media. I can do this. No. You got to be careful what you say. This is why a lot of us say allegedly this, allegedly this. I don't know these people. I don't know anything like this. However, if anything that I've said that it is alleged, unless somebody else proves it to be factual, we can't just get on this internet and say what we want to say. People will sue you. So this is the second lawsuit where there has been technically a win. You had Cardi B suing Tasha K, and now you have Meg the Stallion suing Milagro Cooper. I know a lot of people say, well, it doesn't make any sense. She spent, they'll say she spent $2 million to sue Milagro for $59,000. I don't think that was actually the point. Sometimes it's not about the money. It's about the principle of the thing. And the principle of the thing, which Meg believed, and Milagro didn't do herself any favors by deleting all those text messages either. But Meg believed that she was the mouthpiece for Tory Lanez. And Tory Lanez, as Megan believed, and as Megan basically prove. Well, she believed that Milagro was acting on the wishes of Tory Lanez, talking about her incessantly and all of these little different things. That is what she believed. That's what she went to court to prove. And she won part of her case. The only reason she didn't win her defamation case was a technicality. And honestly, that was her lawyer's fault. So again, I think that Megan should deduct about she should deduct a few $100,000 from that lawyer's fee, because they should have done the cease and assist either way. If they would have thought that she was whatever or not, they should have done the cease and assist the first thing. They should have done it. Even if Megan didn't want them to do it, they still should have done the cease and assist. But hey, you live and you learn. You live and you learn. So that's basically what I wanted to come on here for, just to go over those two documents showing that the jury found in Megan the Stallion's favor, Megan Pete's favor against Milagro Cooper. And a couple of days later, because the jury found that Milagro was media, that the judge threw out the defamation portion of the case because of basically a technicality that Megan the Stallion's legal team did not file a cease and desist, did not offer Milagro the opportunity to correct the abhorrent behavior that they came to court with, and they did not do it 5 days before they filed the court. They did not do it in time. So what do you all think about this? I followed the court case, and then it started get to be too much. But that's the one thing about these federal cases, because we can't see these federal cases, we have to rely on someone else. I just figured, let Megan Cuniff, let because I know Armand Wiggins was there, and they can bring us the information as they need to bring us the information, and they did. All right, people. We do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Also, go check out my review of Sean Combs, The Reckoning. That is a documentary produced by 50 Cent on Netflix. It is a 4-part series. I have done my initial spoilerish review. I've done it on this channel, but again, you all know that we've got about 28 more days of me doing my movies and television reviews on this channel. Uh, my movies and television reviews will be on PETV underscore reacts. That's PETV underscore reacts. That is going to be the channel that I'm going to move my movie and television reviews to, and I will stick to legal news, pop culture chats, and any other thing, lives and all that kind of stuff. I will have that over here. So those of you all that are following me here, y'all go follow me on my second channel. I'll put it down in the description box, but follow me on my second channel. Please get me to 100 folks over there, because I can go live. Once I get 100 people, I can go live over there. So I would love to do that. We can react to some of the things together. Some of these movie reviews, I can do the reactions, my immediate reaction after the show has gone off. I'm waiting for I am in the middle of watching Bel Air. I've watched the first through second episode. I won't be able to put that up until tomorrow. And hopefully I'll be able to, I won't be able to put that up until tomorrow. And then because I don't know if the fourth through I think those other episodes have come out. I think they have, because I can't remember if they come out on Mondays or if they come out on Thursdays. I can't remember, child. I can't. But I will do the first my impressions of the first through the third episodes. And it will be a spoiler. It will be a spoiler, and I'll probably do it live. So look out for that tomorrow. All right, people, we do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Y'all, please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye-bye.